the natural phenomena of plasma, the solar plasma and electrical charges around us, all of this can become life-enhancing. You know, people are always talking about how they're not in the right mood today. No, don't start using the planet as an excuse for your lunacy.
You choose
I know,
your moon.
the word lunacy comes from luna.
Ooh.
People have been blaming the moon.
Ooh.
The beautiful moon
Lunatic.
is the basis of your madness.
How about that, guys? Luna comes from lunatic. So that's probably where the full moon thing comes from. But that's interesting.
Need not be. It's an empowerment. If you do not know how to use an empowering force, well, it can destabilize you, it can throw you off, it can even take your life in many ways.
Damn.
Yes, maybe your brain is getting overstimulated.
First off, philosophy is a confession. Philosophy is a confession. Go love somebody that you don't like. Hey, what's good, knowledge seekers? Thanks for clicking on the link. WTJ Knowledge Drops back with another Sadhguru reaction video for you guys. You guys love them. I love them. I'm going to keep doing them if y'all keep watching them. More on that in a second, though. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. If you are a returning knowledge nomad, as usual, we don't have the time for me to express my gratitude for your support. It means the world to me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you are new, welcome. My name is Wesley Travis Johnson. This is my channel, WTJ Knowledge Drops, where spirituality meets science. I try to bridge the gap between Eastern and Western cultures, and I sprinkle in a little bit of hard-to-learn life lessons, and we just call it philosophy. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing. This is a very targeted niche, and I need every single one of you. If you're into this kind of stuff, please become a knowledge nomad and subscribe. It means everything to me. Drop a comment, like if you haven't yet. But let's get right into this video. Like I said, Sadhguru new series for Sadhguru 360, episode 1. Did ancient mystics know more than modern scientists? From this point forward, if you back out, your device will explode, so please stay till the end so you can save your device. And you can also hear my opinion on the situation here that we're about to watch. It gets a little crazy, guys. Strap in. Alright, no more talk. Let's get it.
The mechanics of the solar system naturally play a role in the mechanics of how human system functions.
I love
it
this.
can destabilize you, it can throw you off, it can even take your life. No, don't start using the planet as an excuse.
Here we go.
Time is that which holds the entire universe together.
Dang.
Even gravity is one byproduct of time.
Yes.
Well, if that's a bit too much for you, when the rest of the world were still thinking the world is flat, they knew all this without even a telescope. We designed a calendar that does not just count days.
I'm assuming he said we, so he's talking about the ancient Hindu mystics. Is that who he's talking about? And if it is, isn't it crazy how them and the Mayans put together the most accurate calendars there are before, way back, way back, before we knew anything. So, yeah, it's a little weird, guys.
But maps the cosmic geometry. If you do the necessary work and enhance your receptivity, you will see.
Alright, last time. I think there was a ancient civilization, and they used what he's talking about here as their currency. So instead of like a economic system where the statuses and all of that, it was by how much of the spiritual, how far have you transcended, and that's your currency. And I think they tapped into all of the paranormal shit that we think is weird here in the West. We call it it's materialism. We look at horoscopes and all of that as just gibberish. But we need to, this for the people in the West watching, we need to pay more attention to this and study it because it's real shit.
I bow down to the equinox.
Ooh, bow down to the
my
equinox.
life, if I can call it my life, evaporated on that day. I am a child of equinox.
Oh, hey. Here we go.
Namaskarum.
Welcome to 360. Wow.
Welcome.
Let's look at what we call as time.
Let's do it.
More accurately, one specific aspect of human society's experience of time, which is the calendar. When you say time, most people look at the clock or the watch on their wrist, or of course today the phone. Yes, one aspect of time is measurement to serve as a marker for various cycles.
That's the West.
Cycles of nature and man-made cycles.
That's the East.
It is about when you must clock into the office,
Yeah.
when you must pay your bills, or when your EMI is due. Unfortunately, because of the so-called modern society is so deeply invested in the economic engine.
Yeah, and we can't put that effort into ourselves to transcend to higher levels to be able to just manifest what we want. Instead, we go clock into a job and give all our energy to somebody else instead of working on yourself so you can manifest whatever you want in this life.
Our entire concept of time is being dictated by what and when and how we need to do some economic activity. Well, most people are not concerned about when the flowers will bloom or when the monsoons will start. Well, if we talk about flowers, when is the best time for marketing flowers? If we talk about monsoons, when is the best time to sow or reap? All about economics and our survival process. I have nothing against economy or the economic process, but
do.
limiting time, which is a profound phenomenon.
I do. I think we need a reverse course, although it's probably the point of no return at this point. We are in late stage capitalism, guys. But when it cycles back around, we need to be in touch more with what he's talking about, right? The time, the real time, not the measurable time, the real time.
Phenomena of existence to a purely transactional calculation is a serious mistake that we have allowed to creep into our lives in the past few decades. Economics is essentially about survival. There was a time when survival meant food and shelter. Today, food and shelter are getting more and more organized, unfortunately complicated, and of course expensive. It is fine to have all these things, but they should not become the determining factors of your life. What kind of food you eat, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of home you live in, everyone organizes these things according to their capability, but they should not become something that limits you. They are only to support you in your life. Whether you went to office by walk or by bicycle, or whether you drove a car, it's just a question of different people's financial capabilities and the choices that people make and the opportunities that are available to them. But essentially, the important thing is you got there. The means of travel is only incidental. It is so with every aspect of life, but the incidental factors have taken on such significance in our minds that the fundamentals of life have been completely forgotten. If you pay attention, you will realize time is not about economics. The yogis have always seen time as the basis of creation. Time is always ticking away, but cannot be pinned down. There is no pause button, there is no rewind facility there. Time is that which holds the entire universe together. Even gravity is one byproduct of time. It is a force that manages the time-space relationship and allows time or kala to find expression. You know, many times I've told you, the experience of time is determined by which side of the toilet door you are. Those who are inside will say, just 1 second, but
People
in
on the
your
outside are like,
experience,
hurry up.
1 second is a eon. So time or the experience of time is very relative to the type of experience we are going through.
It's all relative.
If you are going through something very unpleasant or compulsive within you, then
Yeah, this is a good time to touch on this. Everything is a cycle if you allow it, guys. So if you're stuck in some kind of vicious cycle like he's talking about, depression, self-harm, self-hate, all that. If you are stuck in one of those vicious cycles, you have to put active pressure against it or it will cycle back. Everything is a cycle if you allow it.
and minutes will become years. But if you're going through something very pleasant and wonderful, then years will become seconds.
Yes.
This is human experience. Well, even on a more fundamental level, we see that when the dark nothingness of kala reverberates and takes form, physical existence begins. Well, if that's a bit too far or too much for you, in your daily experience, you experience time as the changes happening within and around you. If the earth rotates once, you call it a day. If the moon goes around the earth, we call it a month. If the earth goes around the sun, we call it a year. Like this, from the smallest to the largest aspect of the physical, everything in physicality.
And looking at this just made me think of something. Why wouldn't our moon get taken in by the sun's gravity, since we're stuck in it, and the sun's pull is way more than ours, and it just seems like when it gets in between the two that the sun should suck it in, or it should start. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. I need the engagement anyway.
It is cyclical in nature. And because this human body is just a piece of this planet, and the planet is just a small speck in the solar system, the mechanics of the solar system naturally play a role in the mechanics of how human system functions. If you look at the calendar, the majority of the world today following the Gregorian calendar is essentially a hodgepodge. You must understand where it comes from. It originates from the Roman Empire. Well, it is claimed in the world lot of things, almost everything came from the Roman Empire because everything that there was before that in that region was obliterated by the Roman Empire. I know obliteration has become a favorite word in the world today, and its main purpose was to facilitate tax collection. The word calendar itself comes from kalenday, pronounced kal-len-dai, which was the day when debts were due. The day citizens…
Yeah, everything was whitewashed. Everything was whitewashed. First the Romans, and then the British. Whitewashed. Pretty sure the Romans did not invent the calendar. If anybody did back then, I think it was the Persians. But as we're learning, this was like 5,000 years ago when they built the calendar. So the Romans didn't do that. I don't give them as much credit as everybody else do. I don't really see much into them. Yeah, they got into some art and shit like that. But philosophy. But what a shitty time to live.
Citizens had to pay taxes to the Roman state. It was a calendar made by the marketplace and for the marketplace. It is a numerical convenience that ignores the larger geometry of the cosmos entirely.
Ooh.
It is just a psychological shift in human minds, useful if you were a banker or an accountant in the Roman Empire 2000 years ago, but it is completely inadequate in terms of human experience. It completely ignores how this human system is a reflection of the larger cosmos, especially the sun, moon and the earth. When you look at the calendars that were used in the East, particularly the Hindu lunisolar calendar, it is an entirely different approach. The mystics of the past who devised these calendars were not interested in collecting taxes. They were interested in the blossoming of the human being. They recognized that this human mechanism is not an isolated bubble. It is estimated somewhere around 8 to 12,000 years ago, the first Hindu calendar was made.
Ooh-wee.
The incredible thing is, it has never needed a correction again because this is not a
That's wild. I think that predates the Mayan calendar as well. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it's really, really spooky how both of them got dead on back then when there wasn't any technology, so to speak. Even though I think they had technology, just went down a different path. We went down the electrical path. I think they went down the paranormal path. Like Nikola Tesla said, once we start studying the paranormal, we'll learn more about science than we have in like 10 months than we have in the last 100 years. So, we need to start studying the paranormal, especially here in the West. We look at it like it's voodoo and people are weird, like black magic. That shit's gotta stop, guys. We need to tap into ourselves and to the universe so we can experience time like Sadhguru was talking about. This is for the people in the West.
calculation. This is an observation of the universe and the solar system in which we live. It's not like we are doing guesswork and calculating. We are observing things from that observation. Even if you spend all day cooped up in the bird's nest you call as your apartment or your office, a constant 25 degrees centigrade of air conditioning, even then, whatever takes place in the cosmos, or at least in the solar system, or whatever happens upon the planet, has an impact on your system.
Yes.
If you do the necessary work and enhance your receptivity, you will see the human system is a microcosm of the larger cosmos.
Oui.
In the yogic sciences, we say Anda, Pindanda and Brahmanda. The ingredient that makes this life, the individual person and the cosmos are the three manifestations of the same thing.
Beautiful.
They are all in the same synchronicity of time. Well, one well-known example of this is number 108, 108. Of the 114 chakras in the body, the two are outside the body or the physiological framework. Of the 112 chakras,
I haven't gone down the chakra path, and I really want to. Somebody drop a video in the comments on a good chakra video, please. Thank you.
that are within the physiological framework, the actual work needs to be done on only 108. If you manage to activate these 108, the remaining 4 will naturally open up and fire by themselves.
All right.
This is why traditionally, if you wear a rudraksh or any kind of mala or a garland or let's say a necklace as it is said in the West, it has 108 beads, and this is used for counting. If you chant a mantra or go around an energy space, it is 108 times, because there are 108 things that one needs to do if one wants to have a complete mastery over the human mechanism.
Oui.
This is beautifully manifested in the solar system. Or rather, let me say, this is wonderfully imprinted itself upon the human system from the solar system. The diameter of the sun is 108 times the diameter of the earth.
Huh.
The distance between the sun and the earth is 108 times the diameter of the sun. The distance between the moon and the earth is 108 times of the diameter of the moon.
Hold on. Is this real? Because it seems like it's too much of a coincidence for them all to be the same. It sounds like a bunch of baloney to me. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments.
So isn't it incredible? This mathematic in the creation around us, in the space that we are trying to explore, has manifested itself in the human system. That is, if you pay enough attention to this system, the whole geometry and the mathematic of the solar system is right here for us.
Ooh.
And all this, the Indian yogis and mystics speed well before Galileo was born.
Galileo,
When the rest of the
Galileo.
world were still thinking the world is flat, these people had fully calculated exactly what are the distances between Earth and the moon, between Earth and the sun, and the relationship between these rotations of the moon and the rotations of the planet, how it works, and most incredibly, which I feel…
See right there, why didn't the moon leave? You feel like… So what, gravity, I mean, obviously we can't prove it because we can't have that big a mass here. We just look out and see the same thing happening everywhere, so we assume there's a force keeping us down. I kind of feel like maybe it's a little bit more in depth than that, and it has more to do with paranormal.
In modern science, it only happened in 20th century that we realized there is a precession in the planet's rotation. We will come back to this precession in some time. Because we recognized various aspects like this, in this civilization, we designed a calendar that does not just count days, but maps the cosmic geometry and how we can align ourselves with this geometry for our well-being. Well, among the 9 traditional grahas or influences upon us or the planet are recognized in the Hindu calendar, there is Rahu and Ketu, who are not physical planets or satellites, but it is the position that the moon takes where it eats up a part of the moon or part of the sun, or in other words, it causes either partial or full eclipse because of the northern and southern nodes of the moon being in a certain position in relation to its rotation around the earth. So Rahu is there. So every day there is Rahu Kala. So there are a lot of people who have become very fatalistic about this, that right now Rahu is on, so I will not do anything. So this is not about that. It is not about blaming the stars or the planet for everything that you do or you do not do. And what is wrong with your life is not because of the planetary positions, it is a…
Them mapping out the stars and all that's not too weird, because if you think about it, there was 0 light pollution. So just imagine how the Milky Way looked at night, and it would be so easy to follow stars. And I think that's how they did it. Somehow they came up with measurements doing it, but that's how they did it without a telescope. I hit myself in the face with the mic.
About enhancing your ability to respond to everything that's happening in this cosmos. Only if you're aware of it can you respond to it. And only if you respond, not react, but respond, then you can see how to best navigate whatever situations arise in one's lives. You cannot suddenly make the earth going around the sun to go the other way, but you can see how to ride this cosmic situation. This cosmos is an unfathomably complex mechanism. If you can align yourself to this mechanism, it will work for you. Your life shall become a dance. You have learned to ride. If you do not align yourself, it will work against you, or the same cycles of time will crush you. Do you want the cosmos working for you or against you? Well, cosmos will neither work for you nor against you. It is working the way it is working. It is for you to sync with the creation.
You gotta work on yourself.
If you sync with the creation,
nobody's gonna do it for you.
We say you're in yoga. You have yoked yourself. The word yoga comes from the word yoke. You have yoked yourself to the creation and, if possible, to the source of creation. So, there are many layers to the Hindu calendar in terms of larger cosmos and the solar system. But we will look at the complex form, which is the luni-solar.
I want to learn more about y'all's calendar as well. If anybody has a good video on that, drop it in the comments. I want to study the Hindu calendar and the Hindu chakras. Please, drop a comment, let me know.
Calendar, which is essentially to do with the movements of the sun, the moon and the earth. Different regions in the subcontinent follow slightly different versions of the calendar. The Tamil people follow purely the solar calendar. Other parts of the country mostly follow the complex luni-solar calendar. The lunar calendar goes by the cycles of the moon. The solar calendar takes the sun's relationship with the planet into consideration. The luni-solar calendar is a complex mix of lunar and solar cycles. Because all of them are moving objects, it becomes one complex piece of geometry to calculate and to understand what impacts it has at different times of the year, month and day. Because…
See, this is where in the West here we think is gibberish, like all the signs, people just shun that as whatever. So I don't know.
Both the lunar cycles and the solar cycles are taken into account. I would say that it is far more accurate and it takes more aspects of our life into consideration. It's called the Panchangam in Sanskrit, Panchanga in southern Indian languages, Panchang by the Hindi-speaking people. It's called Panchang, means five-limbed calendar, 5 limbs to the calendar. The first limb is called as Tithi, which is the lunar day. The second limb is the Vara, or the weekday, linked to the 7 celestial bodies of sun, moon like this. And the third limb is the Nakshatra, that's the moon's position among 27 star constellation. And the fourth limb is the yoga, or the calculation combining the sun's movement and the… this is a complex aspect of this calendar, the movement of the sun, moon in relation to the planet. And Karana, the fifth limb is the Karana, specific auspicious timings when one can do their different karmas in their life at a given specific time for the best possible results, or to empower ourselves to the best possible action. In coastal states, the month usually starts with Amavasya or the new moon day. In other parts of the subcontinent, they begin the month with Paurnami or the full moon day. Unfortunately, when the British came, they banished all this and brought the Gregorian calendar, the so-called modern calendar, which is essentially…
I am not proud, but we whitewashed everything.
a number system. I'm calling it a number system because everything is set, so it is easy to count for those who have no mathematical capabilities at all. But a calendar must have a relationship with the celestial movements of what relates to this planet. It is not that Gregorian calendar doesn't have any of that, but it is present only in a minor way and it doesn't make you aware of what is happening today in the system in which we exist. It has no mention of a full moon or a new moon, which has a significant impact on both human physiology and psychology and various other things that are happening in the world around us, including the tidal waves, and they have fixed Sunday as the holiday, which has no relevance to you as a piece of life. In this civilization, the monthly holidays were like this. Every Paurnami means 3 days holiday. 1 day before the day and the next day holiday. 1 day before the day and the next day. Amavasya means 2 days holiday because full moon day and new moon day have something to do with our system, something to do with the planet, something to do with the very way we are born. We are physically here today only because our mothers' bodies were in sync with the cycles of the moon, otherwise we wouldn't be here. So in this calendar, we fixed the spring equinox as an important point because it is a transition from spring to summer. It is a time when the planet is going through important changes in terms of how much solar energy it receives. All life on this planet is solar-powered, and all life on the planet in the northern hemisphere is responding to this in the summertime. Because where in the northern hemisphere, the first full moon or the new moon after that is generally when the new year starts. So we have Ugadi in the south, Gudi Pava, Vaikashi and so many other festivals in different parts of the country to mark this day of the first new moon day or the full moon day after the spring equinox. Now coming back to the precession, you know what is precession? So let's say, if this planet, which is rotating at a slightly tilted like this, and it is rotating like this, and also going this way, as it goes, it is causing the axis of the planet is in a precession. The axis of the planet is at an angle, so the precession is formed, or essentially it is moving this way. It takes a certain amount of time to complete this, but…
And just in case you don't know, that's why we have 4 seasons, because of the wobble. If it wasn't wobbling, it would just be 2. But since there's wobble, you know, we get 4 seasons out of it, and if you didn't know. If you did, sorry.
This precession makes the whole calculation of calendar making into a very, very complex affair. And this has been taken into account in the Hindu calendar or the lunisolar calendar. So if there was an axis sticking out like this, it would be going this way. So historically, when the sun moves into the house of the Aries, which is called as Mesha in Sanskrit language or Sanskritam…
Shout out to all the Pisces.
That should have been the equinox. That was the equinox many years ago. They say around 5th century CE, but today it is about 24 days off. This has happened because of the precession and the geometry between the sun, moon and the earth changing as it goes.
And that's why we have leap year, I guess. Do y'all do leap year over there? I'm sure you do. We all do the Gregorian calendar, so that's probably why they have the leap year to make up for those 26 days. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
It continues to change. Essentially, if you look up in the sky after the sunset on the spring equinox today, actually you are seeing a different part of the sky than let's say 1,000 years ago. And they knew all this without even a telescope. Around the time of the equinox, the planet's magnetic envelope that protects all of us from the high-energy plasma coming out of the sun, like the solar flares and solar storms, that envelope's protection weakens at this time because of how the Earth's magnetic field aligns with the sun's magnetic field, particularly between…
Just so if you don't know as well, the northern lights, if you've heard of them, I'm sure you have, you live on Earth, but those are caused by the solar radiation bouncing off our magnetic field and makes that color change. In case you didn't know, now you do.
23 to 33 degrees latitude, this effect will be at its highest. India is partly in this latitude, some parts of Europe, China and United States are in that latitude. That means Earth's magnetic field goes through disturbances or are deeply influenced by sun's plasma or sun's energy. So it is not to be missed that it is this band between 23 to 33 degrees, maximum amount of development has happened on this planet because sun's energy is at its peak and solar energy being the basic source of energy for all of us and for all life on this planet, naturally populations living in this band thrive.
This is very interesting.
Because maximum amount of solar energy without excessive temperatures happens in this band of latitude. The southern India that sits right near the magnetic equator, where high up in the atmosphere is a band of intense electrical current during the equinox. If the magnetic field is disturbed, this band of current can create a lot of electrical charge.
Yeah, I think they were able to harness it somehow. I mean, if we know where it's at, I think they probably harnessed it somehow.
Well, you can treat this charge as a disturbance or an empowerment. I bow down to the equinox
Ooh-wee.
because I am made of the equinox.
Ooh.
My life, if I can call it my life, because everything that I was before the 1982 autumnal equinox, before that who I was, that me evaporated on that day. And I am a child of equinox, so I cannot emphasize it more. Everything is around equinox for me. You must understand, every major function in your body is essentially driven by an electrical current or an electrical charge. From the beating of your heart to the firing of a thought in your brain, it is all governed by the movement of charged ions.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Calcium, sodium, potassium and magnesium moving through your cells. Ions are molecules that have some electrical charge, so they can be affected by magnetic and electric fields around us. So, if you are under the magnetic equator, or if you are in this range where during certain seasons there is a huge influence upon you, your brains can fire better, your heart can beat better, everything within you can function better. Above all, it empowers the human being if one is receptive
Harnessing.
in a right sense. When the Earth's atmospheric electric fields are fluctuating so wildly, your body acts like a subtle antenna, picking up these changes and charges which are happening in our field of existence. If your system is not geared for this, these environmental spikes can force the charged ions to leak into your neurons prematurely. The brain becomes hyper-excitable. People experience this as migraines, brain fog, irritability and feeling freaky, or you can be immensely empowered if you receive it in the right sense. The yogic system is a system of geometry.
Here's a good point or place to say you gotta work on yourself and you gotta love the people that you don't like so you can love yourself properly, so you can manifest whatever you want on this planet. If you're negative in your head, you're going to be negative to the world, and that's what you're sharing. You put out energy just as you take in, and you got to take responsibility for what energy you put out into the universe, please. We need to start doing that right now.
Or aligning your geometry to the larger geometry of creation. If that is done, the natural phenomena of plasma, the solar plasma and electrical charges around us, all of this can become life-enhancing. You know, people are always talking about how they're not in the right mood today. No, don't start using the planet as an excuse for your lunacy.
You choose
your
moon.
The word lunacy comes from luna.
Ooh.
People have been blaming the moon.
Ooh.
The beautiful moon
Lunatic.
is the basis of your madness.
How about that, guys? Luna comes from lunatic. So that's probably where the full moon thing comes from. But that's interesting.
Need not be. It's an empowerment. If you do not know how to use an empowering force, well, it can destabilize you, it can throw you off, it can even take your life in many ways.
Damn.
Yes, maybe your brain is getting overstimulated by ions leaking around, but it's your responsibility to receive it the right way and to fix yourself, to be fit to live in this creation.
And then you can pass the extra
extra. Not about fixing the creation for yourself.
Sorry.
The way you think it should be.
Yeah, once you get excess, you can help out other people that need the energy. So you bring in an excess of mental energy, spiritual energy, and then the part that you're not using, that he's talking about, you can throw that back out into the world and let other people dine on that.
No. Fix yourself to become fit to live in this creation. Not everyone is affected to the same extent. I never bother about these things. I don't care where the sun or moon is. I keep myself in such a way that I decide what happens within me. That's a possibility for every human being, that you can rise above or at least ride the potter's wheel, that is the solar system. This is why you are the only one on this planet who is referred to as a being. That means you have a choice how to be. You are not a human creature, you are a human being. That means no matter what the forces are, you know how to be. Only then can we call you a human being. Otherwise, you are like every other creature on this planet. All of them are influenced by these factors. But a human being is capable of taking charge of his inner experience. If you have prepared the system through sadhana, these same disturbances can be a runway to take off. It is like a hang glider or a glider. It flies best against the wind. But if you don't know how to handle this glider, which is just a certain geometrical form,
that's
you
a good
will get
analogy.
wiped out.
That's a good analogy, guys. Just because you're walking into the storm and the wind's blowing against you, you use that as a propeller to transcend instead of letting it push you and hold you back. That's a great analogy right there, Sadhguru. Good job, bro.
But
Jesus,
if you know what you're doing, you can soar. Well, a passion for flying caught me when I was just 12 years of age. When I was 17, after incessantly trying with crude designs…
I can't stand flying, guys. Y'all like flying? I get severely anxious. Like panic. I don't know why. It's just not natural, okay? But I look around and everybody's all calm and shit, and I am just anxious as fuck. I don't like flying. Man, I probably will never do it ever again, honestly, because it's not natural. We're not supposed to be able to fly through the air like that. And I hate flying. Let me know what you think about flying in the comments. I need the engagement.
I managed to build a hang glider of my own from a model that was there in the Popular Mechanics magazine at that time, and we didn't have the modern material available as it is today, so we bought some old parachute silk, bamboo and all kinds of contraptions and built a huge contraption, and we believed it'll fly. And when actually it came to flying, running down a hill slope, none of my friends would do it. They were all smart boys. I was the one who was driven enough, stupid enough to try to fly.
Stupid enough. I can match him on being stupid. Once I got my appendix removed only to avoid opiate withdrawal. So I'm one of the stupid people as well.
fly with this, which was never really made to fly. And I took off on that contraption. I think I stayed in the air for about 22 seconds, that's what they told me, and then the whole thing folded up and I went down crashing. These are not smooth, rolling hills of Tennessee. This is southern India, where hills are rugged, full of rocks, thorns, everything. And well, that was… it ended up with me cracking both my ankles.
Yeah. I've never broken a bone.
And it took me another 5 years to get myself a proper hang glider and fly. Well, what I'm telling you is, we have instruments of our body and mind, which are miracles, both of them. But to make them soar, you must hold it the right way. Otherwise, every natural force which makes…
You do have to… so he's basically saying you have to go against the grain if you want to be able to take off and transcend. Going with the wind isn't going to help you. You got to take on that strife and that pain and the agony that we get here and use it as a launch pad. I think that's what he's getting at.
We think they are against us. They are referred to as disturbances, they are referred to as negative forces. No, these are empowering forces if you're in the right way. Even today, all airplanes take off into the wind, not with the wind. You must know this. Next time you fly, please just look at the windsock. Wind is against you, that's when you soar best. So a disturbance is a disturbance only if you haven't prepared yourself for it. If you have done the necessary work upon yourself, it's an opportunity to step up to the next level. The same cosmic geometry that causes lunacy in one person can trigger blossoming in another. It completely depends on how you have engineered your system. One simple thing to take care of during the equinoxes is to keep your hair wet, especially during the sandhyas or the 4 times in a day when there's a transitionary period. That is morning, afternoon, evening and midnight.
I guess that is keep your head wet so it acts more as a conductor, so you can take in more, I don't know what I'm saying, plasma, get more energy out of it, transcend higher spiritually.
But, well, the midnight sandhya may not be relevant for a whole lot of people. If you cannot manage keeping the hair wet, or if time and living here has taken its toll on your hairline, at least the top of the head should be kept wet. You can also do this during Amavasya and Purnami or the new moon days and the full moon days. But this period from the equinox to solstice is important because this is the time the sun's impact is at its peak. So there are many simple things that you should take care of to make sure your life is enhanced by these forces. To put it very simply, in southern India, let's say just 2 decades ago, 20–30 years ago…
If you don't know, the Great Pyramid in Egypt on the equinox, it makes it look like a snake's coming down it. How'd they do that?
If you looked at people who worked outside, especially the farmers and the labor who worked outside in the sun, during this period, the Paurnami or the full moon day that comes in the month of Chaitra, which in Tamil language people say Chitrai Paurnami, from this day onwards till the summer solstice comes, no farmer went out onto the field or no Tamil person at that time went out without applying castor oil, which is a very thick oil, upon the top of their head. Because oil is a way of keeping your head wet throughout the day. If you put water, it's gone in 10 minutes. So they applied oil before they went out. This was a common sight that farmers always applied castor oil on top of their head. This is very prevalent in southern parts of Karnataka also, which I have witnessed in my farms, the labor never came to the farm without oil on top of their head. This is why the festivals in this culture are set up the way they are. All Indian festivals are calendar-oriented, not belief-oriented. Based on how the sun, moon and earth are aligned, they are looking at what's happening on that day and creating processes so that…
I want to dig into the Hindu calendar he's talking about. Anybody know a good link to it? Drop it in the comments. Let me know, please.
people are involved in a way that they are not affected by certain forces but benefited by the same forces. Because not every human being is made with the same resilience. Unless they do the right things, they may be affected. What one can go through effortlessly may break another. So many simple things were prescribed. For example, the consumption of seasonal fruit and vegetables are a fundamental aspect because what you ingest is as important as how you breathe. Well, if you're from southern India, in this time of the year, people consume what is called as Lakshmi Charu in Andhra Pradesh, Palai Sadam in Tamil Nadu, Kulu in Karnataka.
I've never had
what
any
these
Indian
things
food.
are is, they are cooling agents. They cool the system and they're very rich in B12. The cooling aspect of these foods and B12…
B12 also gives you energy. When I was in like 20s and 30s when we used to go out partying, the chicks used to get a syringe and inject B12 into their butt cheek so they could have more energy to drink. There's a cool tip for you. Don't try it at home, kids.
Rich component is very important when the sun's rays are at a certain level of intensity. So these things they realized long time ago and these things were very ardently followed till recently. But today, you want to eat fruit from New Zealand and pasta from Italy which was cooked 3 months ago. I don't have anything against these foods or the places. Having the freedom to choose is great, but you must learn to choose what brings well-being. Around that, you want to have a little adventure into the foods that come from elsewhere, here and there, that's fine. But the important thing is, you must understand what you consume is a fundamental instrument for your well-being. So in the Hindu calendar, the year is divided into two halves. The period from winter solstice in December to summer solstice in June is called Uttarayana, the northern run of the sun. The sun moves northward with every passing day. Every day you will see the sunrise is a little more to the north. The period between summer solstice and winter solstice is called Dakshinayana. This is the southern run, that is when the sun starts to move southward. In the yogic tradition, Uttarayana is seen as a time of harvest, both in terms of agriculture and in terms of spiritual growth. It is called the Kaivalya Pada. Dakshinayana is considered a time to work upon yourself. It is called the…
So the sowing season isn't just for physical fruits. It's also the time to work on yourself internally. Harvest what you've been working on. So that's interesting. I've never heard that before.
Sadhana Pada. Apart from the spiritual aspects, there are also various health aspects. Your metabolic system, your glandular function, your immune mechanism, all these function differently at different times of the year. Well, it has been noticed, many studies have confirmed that you will see much more neuronal growth and connections between the neurons in the brain during Uttarayana. In Dakshinayana, the system shifts to a cleansing or purification in the brain, a kind of clean-up phase.
Interesting.
All this with reference to northern hemisphere because maximum population for the longest period has largely been in the northern hemisphere. Considering all these aspects, we created various processes through festivals so that you can benefit from these natural mechanisms. Let's take Margali as an example. The Tamil month of Margali starts on 16th December towards the end of Dakshinayana. Margali is the time to bring stability and balance. There are many practices you can do for this. We have told you, you are supposed to take a cold water dip before sunrise, preferably at the Brahma Muhurtam. So when you take a dip in the cold water, the blood vessels, particularly just beneath the skin, across your body, will shrink or become very narrow. This conserves energy without letting the heat going out of the system. This narrowing and widening which naturally happens with activity, the blood vessels become more flexible, which is very important to maintain healthy blood pressure and for the cardiovascular system. Doing this process for just one day will only shock the body. It will not leave any lasting physical change, which is why we tell you to do this for a whole mandala or a period of 40 to 48 days. If you go through this process for a whole mandala, it can improve the condition of your cardiovascular system. There are various aspects like this. I won't go into all the health aspects because what we're talking about is about the phenomena of life itself, not just about health. Maybe for most people, health benefits are what is most tangible, but the fundamental is not simply about health. We are trying to ensure that the body and mind don't become obstacles in our lives.
There we go.
They should become stepping stones for your immediate and ultimate well-being. Well, as a part of that, we want health, we want emotional exuberance, sharpness of the mind, but these are not an end unto themselves. You're supposed to use these as a basis to explore the more profound aspects of being human. Human life does not end with survival. Human life begins only when survival is taken care of. And above all, if you are a human being, the stars and the planets need not decide your experience of life. You and you alone should be the one to decide your inner experience. So the moon, the sun, the calendar, all of these are important, but don't become obsessed with it. There is a wonderful poem by a Kannada mystic, Dashimaya. I hope you've heard of him. If you've not, just look up his poetry.
And I'm going
They're
to.
spectacular.
I love
Let
poetry.
me read you just one stanza of that poem. Accha Shiva Bhaktange hottare amavase matta madhyana shankaranti ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಸ್ತಮಾನ ಪೌರ್ಣಮಿ ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆ ಭಕ್ತನ ಮನೆಯ ಅಂಗಳವೇ ವಾರಣಾಸಿ ಕಾಣ ರಾಮನಾಥ.
All right, English.
What this means is, to the one who is absolutely with Shiva, there is no dawn, there is no new moon, there is no noonday, there are no equinoxes, no sunsets, nor full moons. His front yard is the true Varanasi. Oh Ramanatha. So, for a yogi, one who is in state of union with Kala, the time and space, the fundamental ingredients of this creation, which we call as Shiva, is beyond the impact of these cosmic movements. Whether the moon is full or not, whether the sun is moving north or south, his inner experience is not determined by these celestial movements, because human consciousness is well beyond all these physical manifestations of creation, moving whichever way they're moving. And that is the goal of yoga, to put you in charge of your experience of life so that it is no longer determined by the cycles of physical creation. But until you have reached that state of liberation, until you transcend the cycles of time and space, you must learn to ride the cycles. To ride the cycles, you need the right kind of calendar. So please, learn to make use of the Panchangam to create, to engineer a wonderful life for yourself.
Yes.
Learn to appreciate
Beautiful.
the magnificent and sophisticated and complex nature of the creation around us.
Yes, sir.
But above all, explore the super spectacular nature of human consciousness.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful.
Till we meet again on 360.
All right, beautiful, guys. That was absolutely beautiful. What can we take out of it? Basically, what we always say, gotta work on yourself. If you want to change the world, you gotta change yourself. Work on your insides, because it basically mirrors the outsides. I think I'm gonna start doing the water thing, because that sounds pretty interesting. And like I said, drop me a video on the Hindu calendar and on the chakras, please. If you made it this far, thank you. I love you. Go love somebody you don't like so you can love yourself properly. And let me shout out my sponsors real quick. Shout out to Maestro Bath, my main sponsor. vidIQ, ClickFunnels, Opus Clips, Printify, and W Energy. Shout out to all you guys. All the links are in the description. You can help the channel if you click on any one of the links. My Patreon is down there, Cash App. It's a one-man band here. I've been having technical issues, so if there's any problem with this, bear with me, please. I'm getting it fixed. I'm doing it all myself. But anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. It means the world to me. And go love the people that you don't like so you can love yourself properly. And so you can transcend out this peace. Alright, y'all. Love y'all. Alright, pause for the cause real quick from a quick message from our sponsor, Elevate Your Space with Maestro Bath. More on that in a second.
Introducing Maestro Bath's de Medici Ice Oval Crystal Vessel Sink Collection. Detailed, exquisite three-dimensional hand-placed crystal cuts. Long-lasting and highly durable crystal material, which is stronger than ceramic. Available in gold, rose gold, silver, platinum, and bronze.
Alright, this is Maestro Bath. Luxury bathroom design crafted like modern art. Their sinks are hand finished, Italian inspired, and built to turn a simple space into a statement piece. Every curve, every texture, every detail is designed to feel premium the moment you walk in. They lock in their products with a 2-year warranty, and if you use my link, you get free shipping. So, no matter where you're at. So, use my link, upgrade your space, elevate your space, redefine your ritual with Maestro Bath, and you will help support the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. The link is in the description below.